أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to today's G3 class. We'll start our class with the starting prayer. Can I request a support teacher to unmute a student, please?
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome.
G3 638 to unmute their mic.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome, Sam. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good too. Okay, would you like to recite the starting prayer?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. Our Lord, accept from us, for you are all hearing, all knowing. Al-Baqarah 128.
Good, Jazakallah. It's just that when you were reciting, it did sound that on the ba you were making a dhamma, but it's a fatha, so it will be A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Rabbana taqabbal minna. Taqabbal, yes, fatha. Jazakallah. Okay, so before we start our class, we'll go through the etiquettes. Make sure that before the class you have performed wuzu and that you're wearing clean clothes. It's also very important that your head is covered throughout the class and that you're sitting in a quiet place. Also, make sure that you're sitting with your parent so they can supervise and assist you. And finally, please double check that you are logged in with your correct IDs. If not, please rename yourself very quickly so you can participate in the class. Jazakumullah. I can still see a few names. Please make sure that you come back and log in with the correct ID, because otherwise you will not be able to participate in the class. Right, so now in today's class, we will learn about normal elongation, which is called mad. We have 3 letters of mad, which is alif, waw, and ya. Now, if alif is preceded by a letter with a fatha, and if waw sakin is preceded by a letter with a dhamma, and if ya sakin is preceded by a letter with kasra, then these mad letters should be prolonged for 2 seconds or 2 counts. Now let's have a look at the examples. Can the support teacher please unmute a student?
I request G3 569 to unmute their mic.
G3569, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
How are you?
Good.
Good, good. Now, can you tell me how many examples of mud or mud letters can you see in the first example?
6.
6? I think it's the letters that you can see. So it's 6 letters, but we don't have 6 letters in a way, but yeah. Yeah, okay, so no, we're after the letters of mad. Remember, the letters of mad is just alif if preceded by a letter with a fatha, waw sakin, 2, well done. Which are, is it alif madda or waw madda or ya madda that you can see?
Olive.
Alif only, and we've got 1 here and 1 there. That's the 2 example. Now, when you come across these, can you tell me for how many seconds do you need to prolong?
2.
2 seconds, well done. Do you want to recite the example, the first one?
Ha, famaqam.
Okay, do you recite with dawas? Start with dawas and tasmiyah.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Ha, famaqam.
Really good, well done. Khafa maqama. good. Jazakallah. Can I have another student now?
Can I request G3 601 to unmute their mic?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good too. Now, in the second example, how many examples of mud letters can you see?
One. I mean two.
Two. Okay, which ones are they? Alif madda, waw madda, or ya madda?
Ya madda and alif madda.
Really good. Well done. Do you want to recite the second example as well?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فيهما.
Beautiful. Well done. So can you tell me, when you came across the ya madda and the alif madda, what did you do in your recitation?
I prolonged them for 2 seconds.
That's good. Well done. Really good. So this one's fihima. Really good. Well done. Okay, so do revise this one here as well, because your homework will be about this one later, but we'll come to that. And today we'll go through verses 53 to 56. I will recite them to you, and then we'll go through the split word translation as well. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فيهما من كل فاكهة زوجان. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. متكئين على فرش بطائنها من استبرق. وجنى الجنتين دان. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. Okay, Jazakallah. Can I request a support teacher to unmute the student for the translation?
Can I request G3 559 to unmute their mic?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good too. Would you like to recite or read the translation?
Okay. In the
I will
name
just
of
call up to that was sorry. There you go.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the rejected. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. Therein will be every kind of fruit in pairs. Which then of the favors will you two deny? Then will recline on couches above carpets, the linings of which will be of
Okay.
of thick brocade, and the ripe fruit of the two gardens will be within easy reach. Which then of the favors of your Lord will you two deny? Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. Well done. Okay, we'll go through the split word translation. It's just that this one here is not then, it's they will recline on couches, yeah? But that's absolutely fine. We'll go on now. Okay, so the split word translation, it's always good to know what we're reciting and what each of the phrases or the words mean. So this one here is fihima, which means in both of them. Min kulli, of every kind. Fakihatin, fruit. Zawjani, will be in pairs. Now this one you already know, that's a repetition throughout, but we'll go through. Fabi ayyi, which then. Ala'i, of the favors. Rabbikuma, of your Lord. Tukazzibani, will you two deny? And then we've got verses 55 and 56, which is muttaki'ina, which means reclining. Ala, above. Furushin, carpets. Bata'inuha, which are lined. Min istabraq, of thick brocade. Wajana, and ripe fruit. Al-Jannataini, of the true gardens. Danin, will be within reach. Fabi ayyi, which then. Ala'i, of the favors. Rabbikuma, of your Lord. Tukazziban, will you two deny? Now, let's practice these verses. Can I request a support teacher to unmute a student, please?
I request G3 509 to unmute their mic.
G3509, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
How are you? How are you, G3509?
Good, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good too, Jazakallah. Now, would you like to recite the verses then?
Which verses?
The ones that we just went through, it's verses 53 to 56. You can read the hours from the screen and then I'll scroll down for the verses.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فيهما من كل فاكهة زوجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان متكئين على فرش بطائنها من استبرق وجنى الجنتين دان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
Really good. Okay, so let's just talk about the repeated verse actually first of all, which is فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Now you did do really well on this part, and on this part you did round the Rabbi, the Ra, and then you did prolong nicely on the ala, on the big mud as well. Here you didn't, so make sure that you do it throughout. Now let's have a look at the at verse 53. Here it's well, you need to prolong here as well for 2 seconds because it's vertical fatha, and we can recite better again towards the end of this verse. Do you want to recite again from the beginning of the verse?
Yeah. فيهما من كل فاكهة زوجان.
Good, well done. Now let's have a look here. Did you remember this little meme at the top?
Yeah.
Yes, from last week, isn't it? So what do we do when it comes across?
We pronounce it like, we don't say shin, we say shim.
Yeah, and we do have a bit of a nasal sound as well. Yeah, so we prolong it for a bit for the prolonging. So it will be متكئين على فرش بطائنها. Yeah, so have a bit of a nun ghunna sound in your mouth, catch it, and then let loose of it because we've got ba in the following. Yeah, So do have a bit of the ghunna and then go on to further, and then also prolonging. You did prolong, I think. And then here we've got qalqala, we've got ba, we've got ba, both. So it will be min istabraq. Okay. Do you want to recite this verse again, starting from here?
Yeah.
There you go.
متكئين على فرش بطائنها من استبرق.
Good. So now you're stopping here. Well done. In your previous recitation, when you were stopping, you did pronounce the tanween here as well. Don't do that. If you're stopping, it's just istabraq. Yeah, stop there. And then you would continue with the next part of the verse. That's good. Jazakallah. Okay. So now can we have another student, please?
Wait, can my sister read?
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Can you give me your ID, please?
Yeah, G3510.
G3510. Okay. Yeah. Have a go. Start with Dawes.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فيهما من كل فاكهة زوجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان متكئين على فرش بطائنها من استبرق وجنى الجنتين دان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
Jazakallah, beautiful, well done. Just make sure that on the little meme that we have, as I explained earlier, you need to have a bit of a ghunna sound, yeah? So that one, and then we've got qalqala letters here, ba and qaf. Now we can recite again. I can recite this one for you until this part here, because that is the problematic part for you. Now, متكئين على فرش بطائنها من استبرق. qalqala and a bit of a ghunna on the little meme.
Okay. متكئين على فرش بطائنها من استبرق.
Really good. Well done. Jazakallah. Okay, so let's have a look now. We'll go on to the Hifz practice then. Just a second. Okay, can I request a support teacher to unmute a student, please?
I request G3593 to unmute their mic.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good too. Now, let's check how much you've revised. Are you ready?
Yes, I revised 50 verses.
MashaAllah, very good. Let's
53,
listen.
I mean, so 53.
53, that's really good. Well done. Let's listen to it then.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر الحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والهب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من مارج من نار فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان رب المشرقين ورب المغربين فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يخرج منهما اللؤلؤ والمرجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان وله الجوار المنشآت في البحر كالأعلام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يسأله من في السماوات والأرض كل يوم هو في شأن فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان سنفرغ لكم أيها الثقلان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يا معشر الجن والإنس إن استطعتم أن تنفذوا من أقطار السماوات والأرض فانفذوا لا تنفذون إلا بسلطان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يرسل عليكما شواظ من نار ونحاس فلا تنتصران فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فإذا انشقت السماء فكانت وردة كالدهان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيومئذ لا يسأل عن ذنبه فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يعرف المجرمون بسيماهم فيؤخذ بالنواصي والأقدام
No, it's not this one. It's أقدام.
فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان هذه جهنم التي يكذب بها المجرمون يطوفون بينها وبين حميم آن فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان ولمن خاف مقام ربه جنتان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان ذواتا أفنان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهما عينان تجريان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. This much.
Okay, really good. That's 52 verses. That's really beautiful, mashallah. Okay, so let's just quickly go through a few things that we can still improve. So that is verse, hold on, let's have a look. It's verse 14. And it's actually, well, yeah, it's just that when I realized that you're not doing it, but throughout when you're reciting the ra, for example, let me just find a ra with the fatha. For example, here, yeah, you did recite with a round mouth, or here as well, but when it comes to the repeated verse, which is here as well, we can just have a look at this one. You're not reciting the ra with the rounded mouth, which should be actually, because it's still carrying a fatha, so it will be rabbikuma, not rabbi. But it's not wrong.
Rabbikuma tukazziban.
Yeah, that's good. Do you want to recite the whole verse actually?
Fabi'ayyi ala'i rabbikuma tukazziban.
Yeah, mashallah, that's really good. Now let's have a look at the next part that we can still improve, and that's verse 34. And in here, so we just have these two vertical fathas which need to be prolonged by 2 seconds. Can you recite this verse again? You can go after here because obviously we can have other students as well. Then it's a long one. Have a go.
Ya ma'sharal jinni wal insi in istata'tum an tanfuzu min aqtaris samawati wal ardi fanfuzu.
That's good. That's good. Okay, now let's have a look at verse that's verse 40. Is this one here? Here you need to connect with the va. It's not sun and then va. Yeah, it's not two separate letters because we've got a shadda. You need to connect, so it will be zambihi in sumwa. Yeah, sumwa. That's right. Would you like to recite the whole verse?
Okay. Zambihi in sumwala jan.
Yeah, that's good. Don't prolong this one for 2 seconds, although there is a vertical kasra, but yeah, we've got the big mud here as well, which is around 4 seconds. Yeah, make sure of that one. And then in verse next one was oh, hold on. Oh, sorry, it's still on this one here. That is in verse 42, and that is the ending that you were confusing with other endings. It's the one with the dal, yeah? Well, aqdam, but you did correct that one during the recitation then. And then we have verse, the next one, 45. No, wasn't it? I think it's still the previous one then. Oh yeah, it's here, starting here. So it's yatufuna. On here, you need to prolong for 2 seconds, as we had just now learned. The vowel madda needs to be prolonged for 2 seconds if it's preceded by a dhamma, yeah, and it's a vowel second. So do you have a go again? Do you recite up to here? You can stop here.
Yatufuna bainaha.
That's good. So do prolong for 2 seconds on this one. Otherwise, really good, mashallah. Well done.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. Now, can we have Allah Hafiz? Can we have another student now, please?
I request G3 650 to unmute their mic.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good too. Would you like to recite your Hifz part?
Okay.
Okay, go.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من مارج من نار فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان رب المشرقين ورب المغربين فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان
Yeah, is that it?
No, I just can't remember the next verse.
Okay. So now you can have the repeated verse, which is always there as a repetition.
Can I read from Maraj al-Bahraini, please?
Yeah.
مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يخرج منهما اللؤلؤ والمرجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فله الجوار المنشآت في البحر كالأعلام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان كل من عليها فان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
Okay, so you will have to recite again from كل من.
كل من عليها فان.
continue.
فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
Okay, so you skipped a verse which is starting with وَيَبْقَى.
ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. يسأله من في السماوات والأرض بينهما برزخ لا
No, it's not بين. It's not بين.
كل يوم هو في شأن. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. سنفرغ لكم أيها الثقلان. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. This is what I know.
That's really good. Well done. Jazakallah. Okay, so I didn't hear any sort of mistakes, but it's going well, and you're rounding on the ra as well, and you're prolonging well. That's really good. So keep it up and make sure that you memorize more. Yeah?
Okay.
That's really good. Well done. Jazakallah.
Asnaullah.
Right, so can we have another student now, please?
Can I request student G3 593 to unmute their mic?
G3593, Assalamu alaikum. G3593. Maybe they're not responding.
Okay. Can I request G3 602 to unmute their mic?
G36. Walaikum salam. How are you? Would you like to recite? Okay, I cannot hear G3602, but I just heard her. Walaikum salam. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, well done. Would you like to recite now?
Yes.
Okay, off you go.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان. الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان.
Yes. والأرض
وزعها للأنام فيها فاكهة ونخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجن من مارج من نار فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان رب المشرقين ورب المغربين فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يخرج منهما اللؤلؤ والمرجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان وله الجوار المنشآت في البحر كالأعلام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يسأله من في السماوات والأرض كل يوم هو في
شأن هو في شأن
فبأي آلاء ربكما
just stopped. G3602, I can't hear you. Okay, maybe the connection dropped. Right, what we can do now is still go through a few things. If you're still watching, or if you come back G3602, you can catch up on a few things that you can still improve. So the first thing that we can still improve is in verse 23, and that is wal, yeah? So you need to connect this one, and we've got va, we've got a fatha on the va, so you pronounced va as well. So it will be yakhruju minhuma al-lu'lu'u wal-marjan. And then on the next mistake, that was in verse 30. Let's just go there. So that is, yeah, that is basically the one that you kind of just stop now. You were in the middle of verse 31. But here it has to be huwa fi sha'n. Huwa, I didn't hear a dhamma, I did hear another stroke. So it has to be hu, and then we have a sakin on the alif, so it will be sha'n. Huwa fi sha'n. Okay, Jazakallah. Can I request the support teacher to unmute a student, please?
Can I request G3 638 to unmute their mic?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
Good.
Okay, so would you like to recite then?
Yeah, can I recite from where I left off?
I wouldn't know, so I think it's best to recite from the beginning. That way I can see how much you've revised.
Okay then. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والهب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من مارج من نار فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان رب المشرقين ورب المغربين فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يخرج منهما اللؤلؤ والمرجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان وله الجوار المنشآت في البحر كالأعلام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يسأله من في السماوات والأرض كل يوم هو في شأن فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان سنفرغ لكم أيها الثقلان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يا معشر الجن والإنس إن استطعتم أن تنفذوا من أقطار السماوات والأرض فانفذوا لا تنفذون إلا بسلطان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يرسل عليكما شواظ من نار ونحاس فلا تنتصران فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فإذا انشقت السماء فكانت وردة كالدهان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيومئذ لا يسأل عن ذنبه إنس ولا جان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يعرف المجرمون بسيماهم فيؤخذوا بالنواسي والأقدام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان هذه جهنم التي يكذب بها المجرمون يطوفون بينها وبين حميم من عان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان ولمن خاف مقام ربه جنتان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان ذواتا أفنان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهما عينان يجريان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان
Okay, so you need to recite again from فيهما عينان
فيهما عينان تجريان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهما من كل فاكهة زوجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان متكئين على فرش بطائنها من استبرق وجنى الجنتين دان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. That's all I know.
That's really good. Well done. Okay, let's go through a few things that we can still improve. So it's just the ra sound for you that you need to improve on. For example, I can just pick an example. Hold on, let's have a look. So if we go through this one here, for example, we've got the two ra's. So this one here is not ri, neither is this one ri, it's ri, a sharp ra sound, yeah, ri. And then when you come to the repeated verses, which is fabi ayyi ala'i, then you do recite a rabbi, like with a ra sound, not with a ra sound, but yeah, you have to improve on these ones here because otherwise it's the recitation that is affected. Try this verse, the highlighted one here as well. I'll recite it for you once and then you can recite after me. So it will be وَلَهُ الْجَوَارِ الْمُنْشَآتُ فِي الْبَحْرِ كَالْأَعْلَامِ.
وله الجوار المنشآت في البحر كالأعلام.
Okay, yeah, I did quite emphasize on the ri when I was reciting, but yeah, you need to practice on these. It's not ra, so maybe you can go back to your recitations or just practice on the ra sound. It's ri, ra, or ra. So here it's ra and then ra, yeah. And I don't know, there are a few examples actually that we can still improve. For example, in verse 47 as well. Where is it? So we can have that one there. Can you recite this one?
Okay. وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ.
Yeah, better, much better, yeah. So don't say r or whatever you were reciting. Do recite the ra sound correctly. Otherwise, it's good. No major mistakes I could find in your recitations. Brilliant, well done. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah, Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Okay, so now can we have, we're kind of approaching already the, yeah, no, I think we'll go back and have a look at your homework. So as homework, you need to revise verses 1 to 52 if you haven't already. I had a couple of students today who have already revised a lot of the verses, but make sure that all the students now for next week or for next class tomorrow have revised these verses 1 to 52. And do memorize today's verses, which were 53 to 56 as well. Now for your knowledge quest, your question is how many examples of waw mad can you find in Surah Al-Rahman, verses 1 to 56? So it's just the vowel mad that you're after. Now, we'll close out class with the ending prayer. Could I please request the support teacher to unmute a student, please?
Can I request G3 588 to unmute their mic?
G3 588, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, would you like to recite the ending prayer?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم ارحمني بالقرآن العظيم. Oh Allah, have mercy on me through the great Quran.
Yes, continue.
واجعله لي إماما ونورا وهدى ورحمة. And make it for me, the leader, the light, the guidance, and the mercy.
Okay, Jazakallah, well done. Jazakumullah to all students for joining this class today. MashaAllah, you all did really well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.